few people to do a bit of a review on the Trakker Tempest. This is the Tempest Brolly. So I've been using it for a couple of months. It's an awesome piece of kit. I really do like it. I'm very much a Brolly angler, always have been. I've probably used 2 bivvies maybe in my sort of fishing lifetime. One of them being a Rod Hutchinson, I think it was Limpet, which is really going back when you have to thread the pole through, and more recently an Aqua Atom. And to be honest, I always end up going back to a Brolly style just because it's so simple. You can see the lake, it's got a lovely open front on it, you can see everything that's going on. Still gives you plenty of cover, and it's super quick and super lightweight. This thing comes in at 4.5 kilo, I think, without pegs. I've actually got some super lightweight hiking pegs, so they don't really add a lot more to it. They add about 6 ounces to the weight of it, so they don't really add much to it at all. As you can see, I've got it, this isn't quite a splayed out version, so the arms are pushed out about as far as you can get it, so it's really wide. What that does is it brings the profile down quite low. As you can see, it's quite low set at the moment, but I've got my chair under there on the back on the bed chair, and as you can see, I've got plenty of room to actually sit in there, sit upright, tie up rigs, you know, sit and watch the water, that sort of thing, without damaging my back through straining sitting on the bed chair. And also I don't need the extra height, so it can go a lot higher. You can pull the arms in and this will come up sort of a lot higher, but I don't like it like that. I like it nice and low as I can sort of functionally get it without cutting out too much headroom. But yeah, obviously I've got the bed chair set up in there, plenty of room. That's a Scope Ops bed chair. I've got loads of room either side. I get my my bag on either side. Got a bucket up there. Also got a torch and a little tripod just to give my. As you can see, it just gives you loads of space. This is a Trakker Tempest Brolly. It just gives you absolutely loads of room. Everything stays at the back, everything's nice and dry, you've got a huge mat coverage over you. Awesome bit of kit. You've got these side ribs. This is a cool little feature. So with the side ribs here, with a lot of brollies you don't tend to get this. But what they've done, instead of your sort of traditional sort of brolly with sides, which might sort of come out a little bit on the side here, they've got these 4 ribs which come around the side, which give you a huge amount of protection from the elements. And what they also do, as you can see, this comes out on the side here. What it also does mean you can actually stuff kit up behind the back of these and it stays dry, but it doesn't have to be right at the back of the actual brolly itself. You can tuck it up around under here and it stays perfectly dry even when you've got a driving wind and rain coming in. So it's a really well thought out design. It really does give you some really good coverage. It's also got these ribs running along the outside of the front, and what this does is basically don't know if you can see it from there, but it's done in like a triangle like that and a slightly raised peak in the centre, so that way the water runs off either side, and then you've got these little sort of slip veins on either side. So basically the water runs off, and it basically runs off down the side of this panel away from the front, so you don't get any dripping in the front. It literally runs off down either side away from your kit and away from the front of the brolly. In terms of sort of packing it down, setting it up, it takes about 30 seconds. It really does. All you have to do is put each pole together and you kind of fan them all out, and then you pull the central boss over, which tightens it up, and lock it in, and literally it's there. If you didn't have any wind, you wouldn't even need to use pegs. It is that stable, and it's about 4.5 kilo, which when set up is pretty stable on its own. If you really wanted to, like what I tend to do, is I just chuck a couple of pegs in the front just to pull the front the ribs out, and then maybe 1 or 2 in the back, and that's about it really, just to sort of keep it there. And as you can see, it ain't going nowhere just with a couple of pegs in. And that's it, you know, it's not a lot more to say. I'll bring you in with a bit of a close-up just so you can see one of the features I like about it. Right, so just for a bit of a close-up on here, this is quite a cool little feature I like. So when you're when you've obviously got a fish, when you're sorting a fish out, you can obviously retain your rod on the side straps here, so you can lean your rod against there, held securely in there, and then on here you've kind of got like a working table. That's what I kind of call it. So as you can see, I've got a couple of sort of rigs. That was a chod I had out earlier. I've got one of my solid bags rigs there, and as you can see, there's another one there. And as you can see, you can kind of use it as a bit of a working area. So when you're sort of rebaiting, switching rigs, changing anything, putting a fresh hook bait on, all that sort of stuff, you can use this as a working area. And you can also leave stuff there, and it ain't going to fall off down the side. You can leave it there till you're packing up and you think, right, I don't need that, I can chuck it in the bag. And it's a good way of sort of storing bits of kit that you don't need, or keeping stuff. You can keep your rig box on top of here. You can keep your like baiting needles, hair stops, all that sort of stuff on top in this area here. So that when you need them, you ain't got to keep getting down, getting up, getting down, getting up. You can stand up, you can rebait, you know, keep a pot of pop-ups on here and put hook baits, whatever. Keep it up here, good to go. So it's nice and quick, and you ain't got to mess around getting in and out all the time. You've got a couple of, I'll show you these quickly. You've got a couple of storm pole attachments, one there. You've also got one there on either side. Obviously those are for adding storm poles. What you can do is put the storm pole on here, and you can run it down the side just to give yourself some real stability. It's an awesome bit of kit. There's a couple of extras I haven't actually got myself, but you can get a 3/4 ground sheet to go in there. Just give yourself some protection on the floor when you have these really wet, windy, horrible days. To be fair, I probably wouldn't end up getting one, just because I don't think it really adds that much weight to your kit, and it does give you sort of a bit of extra protection, and it also gives you a bit more warmth, stops the damp getting through. You can get a skull cap, which is essentially sort of an extension, goes over the top, and maybe I'll drop a little picture in just to show you exactly what they are. But yeah, you can get a skull cap, gives you a bit more of a peak, and it gives you a bit of a second layer to sort of prevent condensation. That's one problem with these open fronted shells, you can get a lot of condensation, but because the material is quite it's quite a waterproof and fine material, it does dry out really quickly, which is quite good even in the cold and wet weather. You can also get an extension for it. You can get a standard sort of overwrap to turn it into a bivvy. You can also get like a porch extension, which essentially turns it into a 2-man. So there's plenty of options to go from sort of brolly to bivvy to 2-man. You know, it's got loads of different options for it. So go and have a look at one in the shop. You'll see for yourself, it's a great bit of kit. You can get loads of gear under there, loads and loads of protection, even in driving wind and rain. I really do recommend one. Trakker Tempest Brolly. Thanks for watching the video. Click over here to subscribe to the channel, and down here will be my latest video. I hope you like the review. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and I'll bring you another review soon. Until then, see you next time.